Last year, I had made it a point in the beginning of the year, like all things new, all things new. So coming to Iron Valley Real Estate, that was like one of the new things. Like I've been like a kid in a candy store. It's like all the training. I'm like so excited. So I like last year was really a good year for me. It's like one of my best real estate careers. So this year it's just like I'm bringing all that into this year. And I went to peak performance. So that kind of opened my eyes up to like my why and stuff because I never thought about that.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. And I'm here with Miss Tanisha Jones. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you. You got good vibes, cool ass person. I could say in the industry, you're one of the ones that is out there making reels, everything video content.
Yes.
You know, you and Davina are dope on the video content.
Thank you.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from Oak City, North Carolina. It's a small town. I always refer to it as the Sticks because it's surrounded by trees.
Okay.
And it's one stoplight, a couple stores, and that's it. So I'm from Oak City, North Carolina. I was born and raised there. And after I graduated high school, I moved to Jersey. But majority of my family is from North Carolina. My grandmother raised me. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you just posted a video, you picking up mail for your grandma, correct?
Yes.
Tell everybody, how old is grandma?
My grandmother is 92 years old, but she's like up and walking, and she would definitely put you in your place.
That's cool. No, that's cool. You got to get time out there with grandma. My grandfather, when he was older, he started getting dementia, right? But it was funny because I would go visit him, and he, in his head, was young again.
Oh.
He was out there working the fields. He'd be working. He's like, I got to fix this fence or whatever. And he'd be whatever, fixing a fence. In his mind, he was still young, 20. So it's great to have a grandma like yours at her age, still walking around.
Yes.
Conscious, putting people in their place.
Yep.
How often are you going out there? No?
As much as possible. Probably not enough for my grandmother, but I try to get to her maybe like 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay. And so North Carolina, went to Jersey, kids.
Yes, I have a 16-year-old daughter, Nyla.
Nyla, okay.
Yes, she's awesome.
Great. Is she like my kid? Like she's in a room, not talking to anybody?
Yep. Yeah. Don't want me in the room. Like, get out my room. It's her apartment, I call it.
Somebody explain that. Like girls.
Right.
They like just lock themselves up with their thoughts. It's dangerous. So you're North Carolina. When did you get to Virginia?
I got to Virginia in 2014. I actually was living in Mooryock for like a year, and then I moved to Chesapeake.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Which one do you like better?
I like Chesapeake better because I like where I live at. It's a great environment.
It's not the Sticks.
Yeah, it's
Got
not
it.
the Sticks.
And then what were you doing in between, I guess, 18 to now? Like,
Oh, my
because
goodness.
obviously now you're in real estate, but
Right.
what does that life look like in between?
It's just it was I had a very interesting life. Like I definitely when I left Oak City, North Carolina, I moved to Jersey.
Yeah.
That's where my mother was living. So I moved there. I immediately got a job at Macy's.
Gotcha. And I could hear the Jersey a little bit. I can.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Edwin?
Yes.
Does he know? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
He goes wild. Like anytime he meets anyone from Jersey, he goes wild.
Yes. I lived in the same area he did. So
Yeah.
I mentioned a couple
I
spots
could
to
almost
him.
like verbatim, like copy the guy. New Jersey, Patterson, New Jersey, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so you're out there, and how was that? Cold, obviously.
It was cold. When I first got there, I experienced my first winter storm, and it was so interesting. It was actually great because I'm younger, so I was taking a bus to work back and forth.
Okay.
And in Jersey, it's like it snows life still goes on.
Yeah.
Nothing's closed.
Right. I can see that. Is it like snow? Like you got to dig your car? Well, you didn't have a car, right? You're riding the bus, but it's like, is it like a couple of feet?
Yes, it was like almost to my knees.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, walking to the bus stop, and that was very interesting. I fell plenty of times. So it was fun because my cousin, she moved up a little bit before I did from North Carolina. So
Yeah.
it was like me and her like out there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you had a little partner over there,
Yeah.
and then riding the bus.
Yes, 712. Yep.
Hey, the bus was fun back in the day.
The bus was a lot of fun. It was a new experience because where I'm from, there are no buses.
Yeah, you need a car to get around.
You need
really.
a car.
Yeah.
So it was great because it was so many buses. It's like you didn't have an excuse not to be able to get somewhere.
Yeah, I remember like in San Diego, that's originally where I'm from, and I want to say it was the 901 bus that would take you from Coronado, which is its own little island, Coronado to downtown San Diego, to wherever in San Diego, then down to like Tijuana.
Oh wow!
Like if you want to go party in Mexico, so
Really?
it's like it's $2 to take you all around.
I always want to go to Tijuana.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy nice. It's crazy fun. I would recommend it. Like
Yeah.
that's where I spent I would say a good chunk of my life living in Tijuana.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So my mom would send me out to Tijuana because she didn't want me to join the gangs in LA.
Oh. Oh wow.
So growing up, every summer, I'm living in Tijuana,
Yes.
somewhere in Mexico. I am not in LA.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and it helped. I from a young age, I got to see something totally different. It's a different way of life. You know, people think it's funny when they talk about like they're bringing the worst from Mexico, and I'm like, actually, the gang started in LA,
That's what I hear.
and they're getting sent to Mexico. But my poor side out there, we would have to build outhouses. We would have to go, hunt wild boar. Like the first time I killed an animal, like to eat, was out there.
Really?
Like, yeah, so that's
y'all
how
ate
we
from
were.
the land.
Yeah, yeah. The city's there,
Yeah.
but my family lived up in the hills. There was no streets, all dirt streets. A lot of us had, or my family had dirt bikes and quads and things like that. That's how we get around.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, like 12, 13,
Yeah.
get on my quad. got to go to the store, get some Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. But yeah, okay, so Jersey, and then you end up in Virginia.
Yes. I ended up in Virginia.
What are you doing in Virginia?
So I moved. So okay, I was already like when I lived in Jersey, I was going back and forth because my daughter's father lived in Virginia, but he's originally from Patterson.
Okay.
So I end up like moving here once I had the first time I moved here. It's gonna get a little strange. The first time I moved here, when I had my daughter and I was living in Virginia Beach, so it was great. But then I ended up moving back to Jersey. So when my daughter turned 5, that's when because I knew I wanted to raise my daughter in the South.
Okay.
I just thought like it would be a little bit too fast for her up there. So so we moved back to Virginia, and it was great. I mean, I'm like now I'm a single parent, so I'm doing all the things, and it's just like it was a whole new experience for me.
How, does your daughter like it here? Like she doesn't want to move, I'm guessing, at this point.
No, she loves it here. All her friends are here.
Yeah.
But she loves the fact that she was born in New Jersey, in Patterson, New Jersey, because that's her
That's the
like
cool
thing.
thing.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
her cool thing. Like I'm really from New Jersey.
Yeah, gotcha. Right. And then at some point, obviously, where in your journey is like, okay, I'm gonna get my real estate license.
So I actually, when I moved here, I wanted to get my real estate license. And my daughter was 5, so I was just like, well, how am I going to do that? My mother was already, she had moved she was living in Jersey. She sold her houses, moved down here because she had already had like rental properties and investments in North Carolina. So she just moved into one of her homes. So I was just like, wow, that's great. She's retired because she was working at Macy's too. She was in the Army. She got the Army. She worked at Macy's shoe department for like 20 years. And then she decided to quit and just retire.
Okay.
So I was like, that's awesome. Like, I want to be to retire like at 50. So I wanted to get into real estate, but then I was just like, yeah, it wasn't the time because my daughter was so young.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's time consuming.
It's
Yep.
time consuming. And then I didn't really actually have family in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just me. So I was like, I'm just going to have to wait a little bit longer. So I waited until she was like old enough, like 11, 5 years later. And then I decided to get my real estate license. And it was during COVID.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So that kind of delayed the
So was
process.
it 2020, 2019?
2018, like the end of 2018,
Okay.
I went to Alpha Real Estate School. And then after I finished that, then that's when we kind of, COVID happened. So my PSI kept getting pushed back.
Yeah. Yeah, right in the beginning of COVID, like the beginning of COVID, it was like scary, right? Nobody
Yes.
knew what it was.
Right.
It's like I felt like a hero going to the grocery store, like I made it out. You know, like,
Exactly.
yeah, and it was like everything was shut down, right?
Everything was
And
shut down.
Mike and Eric started this company in the middle of COVID, and everything shut down.
Wow.
So, yeah, okay, you can't take the PSI test, but then you get into real estate. How was the beginning?
It was rough.
Yeah, I tell people all the time. First 6 months of real estate, I didn't sell a damn thing.
It was so rough that I was just like, you know what? Let me fall back a little bit because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just,
Yep.
I just found a brokerage and it was one of the brokers that had came to the school, but I had found a brokerage and I was just like, okay, but I didn't know what I was doing. So it was really rough. And yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, and that's the biggest key is you don't know what you're doing, because I thought I was doing all the right things. I was doing open houses, door knocking, handing out flyers. But even if I had a conversation with you, just any conversation, it's like, how do I get you to a lender to get pre-qualified? I didn't
Right.
have that network. I didn't know how the lending side meshed with the contract, because I wasn't that familiar with the contracts either. I hadn't done one. I hadn't done anything.
Right.
So a lot of hours wasted for me as far as prospecting, and didn't really get anywhere. I joined the team. That's when I really started rolling. I had some, training and mentorship. I guess, is that when you meet Davina, or you were still solo before all of this?
I was still solo, and actually, it was like a year later, and I was like, I'm just going to really focus on real estate because I mean, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to give up. So, actually, one of the agents, he sent out an email. He was like, "Does anybody want to do my open house?" So I was like, "Yeah, I do it Saturday and Sunday." Like,
Okay.
I had plenty of time on my hands. I didn't have any clients.
Right.
So that was like the beginning of everything, really. Like, that gave me hope. So I said yeah, and then he disappeared. Like, I'm just like, so I had to reach back out to him. I was like, "Hey, you still want me to do your open house? It's getting close to Saturday." And I
Yeah.
didn't have any, like, I just knew I was going to show up and open the door and bring some balloons or whatever. So
Do the sellers know I can go there,
right. Like, what do I like? How do I do this? But I knew I was going to do it. I'm Googling and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
so I get to the open house, and before I get there, he's just like, "My clients, they're investors. This was a flip. They have cameras in the house, cameras everywhere." So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's empty. So it's gonna be me. And it was in Portsmouth, and it was in an interesting neighborhood. And I was just like, I really didn't care. I mean,
was
I lived in
active.
Patterson for 12 years, so.
Yeah.
So I ended up going there and doing the open house the first day, and I actually did my first TikTok at the open house.
All right.
Yeah, so it was like a first everything at this.
So is this
open
like
house.
2020 now?
No, this is 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, 2021, I believe.
All right. So you do your first TikTok.
My first TikTok, one of the agents was also a videographer, so she came and helped me do it.
Oh, cool.
So I did it there. I did it in the house. It was really fun. It was off of a Beyonce song. And so fast forward to the second day, it was my birthday. So I did an open house on my birthday, and the other agent, she was like, "Well, we should go to brunch after your open house." I'm like, "Great." So we did that, and then an agent called me. He was like, "Hey, somebody wanted to come to the open house, but they couldn't make it. You think you could show them tomorrow?" I was like, "I sure can." And he was
Okay.
like, "It's your client, nothing."
Nice.
Yeah, so that ended up being my first client.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, just show up. I tell people that. Like so many times people don't come to the office. Like, there's no need to, especially when you're newer. It's like I hate this when newer agents was like, "Oh, I'm busy." I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, just show up, get guidance, get mentorship, get something. But those opportunities happen all the time around the offices, or in your case, an open house, right?
Yes.
That's how I got my opportunity. I was doing these open houses consistently. Coincidentally, I kept picking the houses that were vacant and staged, and it was a team that owned these listings or had these listings. And they were like, "Damn, Edgar, you're working harder than our team members. You want to join our team?" Like, that's how it happened. That's how I
Wow.
got my opportunity. People see your work ethic and they're going to gravitate. And it was nice to see an agent just like, "Hey, here you go. Here's a lead or
Yes.
a potential client." Because I do that now. Now the roles have reversed where sometimes I got to do a podcast and grab a lead, and whoever's sitting in the office,
Right.
I've done it plenty of times. They're like, "Hey, here you go. Take
Oh,
my
wow.
phone, work it. You owe me X amount of commission." And that's
great.
it.
Yeah.
So you get your first client, and where do you take it from there? Like,
So the interesting part about that's why I love this agent to this day, because it was cameras in the
who's
home.
the agent?
Um,
You don't want to say? It's all right.
yeah, I probably don't want to say, but his name was Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a wonderful person, and so there was cameras in the home. So actually, when one day I was there, the investor started talking to me through the camera.
All right.
Yeah, so the home wasn't selling how they wanted it to, so they actually took it off the market, and they told the agent like, "Hey, can you add Tanisha to this listing?" And he did it, and that was like an additional commission I got from that. So it
Nice.
was because they like seeing me do my work, because they was actually watching me the whole time. I didn't know that. It was weird, but I was just like, oh my God, like it was interesting. So it was like a couple of blessings I got just from doing that one open house.
I wonder if they saw you on TikTok also.
Yeah,
Did
they saw me
did-
doing the TikTok and everything, because I did it in the house. And the client that I helped, we end up finding him a home for him and his daughter. And I still keep in contact with him. He's such a cool person. He sees my Facebook posts like I love my clients. Like they have a friend to the end.
Yeah, I just saw your newest one, and it was a song. I forgot, like when they have other plans. Like,
Oh yeah,
you have an
what
appointment?
doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that goes so well. That's right. But like to do that, because I see people doing the trans, the dances, like you gotta have some balls to do that. Like honestly, because I was tasked. This is a while ago, like just to do like my first sale. I can't do it. I could do this podcast, but I cannot do the talk to the people, read a script, or dance or nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough. Like I did the one little video with you ladies, which
Yes,
was
that
fun.
was so
It was
much
all of us
fun.
together. But by myself, I can't do it. Like,
No?
where did you get that? Like, I'm just gonna do it.
I think for me, because like my life has just been like so exciting.
Okay.
Like from beginning to now. So I am an only child, and my grandma raised me, but my grandma had 10 kids, so I grew up with 3 of her, which was my uncles and aunts. Like we grew up together.
Yep.
We was around the same age,
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to school together. But I still was an only child, and so when they was off doing their own thing, I would be performing in my grandmother's room, like in front of all the pictures. And I'll just be
Okay.
singing. It was just like, because when you're an only child, you're used to being by yourself.
I'm my
so-
only child. Yeah.
See, yeah,
I know what
so-
you mean. I 100% know what you mean. But I
it's
wasn't
easy.
performing though.
No. See, you wasn't performing. I was performing in front of pictures. It was so weird, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I talk to people about the whole only child, because sometimes I've gotten this. Like when they find out I'm my only child, they're like, "Oh, that's why you're like that." I'm like, "What does that mean? Like, where am I different, right?"
Right.
But like I tell people, like there's certain things that you will never experience that I never experienced. Like, for example, I'm having a bad day. I can't just call a brother, sister, or somebody to lean on. Like,
Right,
I have
right,
nobody.
right.
I'm not calling my mom.
No.
You know, like
Right.
there's certain things that like growing up as an only child is just different. I
Mm-hmm.
was never really attached to anybody either. So I
Right.
know you have your cousin Jersey, great, but I don't know what that looks like after. I'm sure you ain't that attached to her no more.
No, because she had sisters and
Yeah.
brother, and I was still the only
Yeah,
child.
that's the loyalty
Yeah.
over there. They got their own
Yeah.
little crew. It's just different. You're always gonna be somewhat of an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I mean, you're in real estate. At what time do you join Dominate Real Estate Group?
So after my first sale and all that, I still kind of didn't know what I was doing because I still didn't have guidance. I was kind of like working off of like what I've seen other people do.
Yep.
So I went to my broker. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And she pointed me to Davina, and I was like, oh my God, Davina's such a boss. Like she's like so
Yeah.
amazing. And she was so nice, and she welcomed me on her team. And I met Audrey and Jessica, and it was just like they were so focused and they knew what they were doing, and it was help. Like it
Yeah.
was not a question that they didn't want to answer or help me out with. So it was like a blessing. It was like the best team to be on.
Yeah, no, all of you have great vibes, a great it to me outside looking in, it looks like great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think just recently I saw you traveling somewhere with them. I don't know if it was her or if he was speaking on stage or something, but I just saw y'all
Yes.
traveling. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. They're out there together, you know,
Yes.
outside of Virginia."
Mm-hmm.
Which is always nice to see. And how do you feel about your career now? Like, what's those goals looking like for you?
It's I feel great about it. I feel like this is like last year I had made it a point in the beginning of the year, like all things new, all things new. So coming to Iron Valley Real Estate, that was like one of the new things. And it's just like I've been like a kid in a candy store. It's like all the training. I'm like so excited. So I like last year was really a good year for me. It's like one of my best real estate careers. So this year it's just like I'm bringing all that into this year. And I went to peak performance. So that kind of opened my eyes up to like my why and stuff because I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's important. The why.
Yeah, the why.
That's the motivation and the drive behind everything. I saw your flyer. I can't remember. What was your percentage for growth?
243%, I believe.
There you go.
Yes, 243%. So I'm excited for this year. Like I have a goal to reach by the end of the year, and my why is my daughter, of course, and just building a legacy and something to leave for her and her grandkids. I mean, her kids and their grandkids, my grandkids, because my mother started it. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm a
jumping
grandpa
onto it.
now.
Yeah.
I just had the first grandkid.
Really?
December. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I feel you. No, I mean, it's. I hear it a lot. You know, people want to leave a legacy, and for you, like whatever that goal is, what you're doing now today is those steps to get you there. Like, don't. Yes, there's a goal there, but what you're doing today
Right.
is what's going to get you there. For obviously now you're starting to have what it seems like those breakout years. You're starting to see that growth. What would be your advice to those agents out there that are kind of like what you were not too long ago?
Right.
Because lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce, just completely lost to know which path to go down. My advice would be to definitely come into the office, definitely go to all the trainings because I never had training before. So I didn't even, it's so interesting. I didn't even think I could get that. Like,
Okay.
I didn't know
Yeah.
how that worked. But when I came here, I was just like, okay, I'm coming to all the trainings as much as possible.
Yeah, and we're unique. I don't know. I can't speak. There are other brokerages that have training, but I don't think they have training as excessive as we are. Right. Not only that, I think what people like is that we are personally doing the training, where it's Mike and Edwin. They're really running the show.
Right.
You know, I fill in wherever, but like it's really producing brokers and LJ, of course. LJ is a monster with all the tech stuff and the AI. He's leading the charge with that. So, shout out to the Norfolk crew. You know, they're doing great. From you guys. You know, although LJ and Julian, like they started that show over there, like honestly, like the agents for Norfolk are really shining out there. Like we've seen the growth, and aside from the training, the collaboration between agents really matters.
Right.
It really matters. You know, when you come into the office, you feel the vibe. I walk in and then I see you dancing, right, in your office, doing whatever videos. There was a moment also one day, and I think we were going to have training at Chesapeake. I can't remember what it was, but I'm walking in, and this is out on the street. So imagine a big commercial building. I parked across the street, get out, walk across. Tanisha's out here doing whatever dance. She sees me and stops. Like, why are you stopping? Like, there are probably hundreds of people watching you from their office buildings. Like this weirdo out here in the street, and I'm the one that got you embarrassed. Like,
yes, it was so funny. I was just like, because I don't
I was
see
like, hello?
people. I didn't see you don't see.
There was lots of people.
It was. That is so funny.
There was people. There's a coffee shop right across the street. Yeah, that little bush wasn't covering you.
Right. That is so funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, you literally do these videos. People are watching you, right? Hitting likes and everything. You see the insights. And it's like that one moment I thought was hilarious. I was like, oh, you're embarrassed now? Like,
right.
No, finish the video.
Right. And I couldn't finish it. It's
Jeez. Well, what is like your 5-year plan out? Like now that you got something going, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So where I see myself in 5 years, I think about it every day because that's what motivates me. So me being a single parent and having that experience, my goal is to create a nonprofit program for single parents.
Okay.
And to provide after school activity funds because some single parents, they can't afford it. So that's one of my big goals. I see that, like, that's in my vision. I know I'm going to make it happen. So that's what drives me. And that's, with my daughter doing public speaking and her, like,
oh, wow,
being on top of that, like her teacher recognizing her, like, from day one. And he just asked her to be co-captain of the team. So that is something that I see her being integrated, like, with that, like, in the future. And just, that's like one of my top goals. That's why I see myself in 5 years leading that. I just have to write the plan down.
Did you just have an event, or did she just have an event, like a speaking event?
Yes, they have speech tournaments. They had a speech tournament Saturday. They have another one coming up this Saturday. She's in the duo, so it's her and another student, and it's so amazing because when she started, I was like, I had to be the other person at home. And just seeing her being able to memorize all of that, and
so it's not like a debate class, right?
It's different. It's different sets. So she's like, it's a team. It's probably like 7 or 8 people on the team, and they all have something different that they do. So you have the debate, you have like the non-scripted. It's interesting because I didn't know it existed.
Well, that's cool. You get to go out there and be mom. Like, good for her.
Well, I wish. I'm just like, I didn't know that because it's so many students. The parents sometimes are not allowed to come. So I'm just
really?
So you just want me to drop you
Man,
off?
I just went to go see my kid do a spelling bee, and I was like,
that is so
I never
awesome.
thought I'd be at a spelling bee. Like,
that is so awesome.
And you, like, the words come up, I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to spell this, but come on.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader? No.
I'm not. No, but some of these words were crazy, and they got them. They memorized them, and it was kind of cool. And then I got dark humor. So, like, when the kid didn't get the word right, like the first kid, like all I want is, like, don't be the first one to lose.
Oh,
right?
my God.
So when the first kid, it was a girl, she didn't get the word. And then she sat there and she was bawling, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, like, thanks. It wasn't my kid, whatever.
Right.
And now I'm worried about my boy. I'm like, is he gonna cry when he doesn't
Right.
get the? Because every time he would get the words, he would look at me.
Oh,
He would spell it out, and then he would look at me. You know.
that is so great.
Yeah, and then when he would be sitting in his chair while the other students were doing their words, I could see him like spelling out the words. So I was like, all right, he's got a lot of knowledge in there.
Yes.
But anyways, we always ask the guests, do you have any questions for us? Anything?
I think my question to you would be like, how long have you been doing real estate?
8 years, going on 8 years.
8 years. It's just like, it seems like you've been in here longer for 8 years, even though I only known you for a short amount of time. So at what point were you just like, okay, not you reached your peak, but you knew like that, okay, I'm doing very awesome right now. Like at what point?
Man, that's hard to say. I knew I was doing good. I don't think any of us, we just had this conversation, give each other enough credit. I'm never going to be like the top producer, 20 million, that kind of person. I do give out business, but I would say when I was getting here, even when I was coming here to Iron Valley, I had a small team. I was selling about 7 million in sales volume. I knew I was doing good, but not the best. But I didn't realize where at that time I was actually up there. Because I didn't know, just like you, about the top 500, the top 1,000.
Right.
Like, you don't know those analytics until you start getting into the rooms. And it's like, hey, there's 10,000 agents and you're one of the top whatever. And then I started realizing, oh, I actually am doing pretty good. And then I'm going to the award ceremonies for Hurrah at the time. And now I'm in the room because now our teams are getting recognized. And then now I'm looking at, I think we were number 11 in Virginia. That was the highest before, I took ownership and the team went off on their own. But we're number 11 in the nation. I mean, not in the nation, in Virginia.
Wow.
As a team. And I was like, damn, okay.
That's awesome.
Like, you don't even know. You don't know what you don't know. But
Right.
that's where Mike brought all that stuff to light. And it's like, selling 10 million or more, I mean, that's still pretty good. And I could do that consistently. And usually between February and October is when I'm doing all my sales. Like, that's just me. Holidays are for the kids. So when you look at my sales, like by December, I'm closing out deals, but I'm not really doing transactions.
Right.
At that point, I'm giving them to whatever agents around me. But I would say about 2021, I was already in about 4 years, and then it started to like sink in, and Mike was showing me like, nah, man, you're kicking ass.
Oh, wow.
You guys are in the top 500 in Virginia or in Hampton Roads. And then that's when I realized, like, oh, shit, like, okay, yeah, I'm with an elite group.
Right.
And then he helped me get into those rooms and kind of guided us, like, hey, there's these top producer events and things like that. So then I'm meeting all these people that you see
Right.
online killing it, right? And it's
yeah.
like, oh, no, I'm in the same group. Now
That's
you're starting to like shake hands with these people, meet them in person. To all those watching or that are here in Hampton Roads, there is no secret sauce. There is nothing that separates any top producer except their work ethic. I call somebody, they don't answer, I call them again, I email them, I text them. And I keep going until they totally block me. And other things that set you apart is all your systems. LJ's great at that. He's great at systems. Something I've was lacking on and I'm implementing. And also, the mentorship. I, like yourself, didn't have any guidance or mentorship. Although I joined a team, later on I realized the team wasn't that great. They did help me. It served its purpose, but then you start working with a Mike Little, Eric Edwards, and you start to see like, oh shit, there's a different level to this, right?
Yes.
The level is a little bit more aggressiveness in your follow-up. Anybody who is buying into lead sources, because bought into Sync. I bought into Zillow. All that doesn't matter if you're not making the calls and following up.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And I have tons of agents who came through my team and were let go for not doing what they were supposed to. But back to your original question. I would say 2021 is when I really started realizing like I was up there in numbers and growing. But for you, right now, I think we have a little over 77,000 agents. I'm sorry. And then I forget what the stats were. We just posted it today. I can't believe I don't remember this, but it was something like it was 74%. 70% of agents nationwide didn't sell a single house last year, 2024. Over 80% in Iron Valley did sell homes.
Oh, wow.
So think about that. Only 25% of agents nationwide were selling properties. You're one of them. And you grew your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the more people leave the industry, it's going to be better for you if you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because I'm not going to quit.
No, don't. Like that's the other
I'm
big
gonna
key.
go harder.
Yeah, that's the other big key. Like in 6 months, I didn't sell a house in the beginning. I could have quit at any point. I just didn't. And opportunities just arose. But Tanisha, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Hope everybody watches. Subscribe, share the post, please. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.